Well, hello everyone. Ketu in the ninth house, the south node of the moon in the ninth house. And what happens when this comes into your horoscope? Well, most of you might be thinking, Ketu is spiritual, Ketu wants to find the truth, and the ninth house wants to show you the truth. Well, actually, that's not the case. Because ninth house is not the house of finding the truth. Ninth house is about following the truth. There are certain sets of rules that you must follow, which is known as dharma. This is why it's known as dharma house, dharma bhava. Meaning that you listen to your guru, your father, and whatever they teach you, you follow that all throughout your life. And here, Ketu wants to reject that. Because Ketu is not stupid. Even though he doesn't have the head, and he's known as a stupid planet, he's not stupid. He knows this is not the truth. He knows me following religion and religious activity and doing all sorts of ritual will not lead me to find the truth. However, these people take interest in that. They take interest in that in the early age, and they're like, oh yes, religion, here we go. It may lead me to something. Even as a child or teenager, they subconsciously think that it will lead them to become a better person. But when they realize that it is not exactly what the universe is about, following a man-made religion, then they tend to reject that, and they tend to not get along with their professors. Their father's teaching, becomes quite abrupt. The father may be distant with them. It might be isolated from them, not just by like early death or something, but the father could be just away from them. The relationship with the father just becomes very isolated and distant. The relationship with their teachers become isolated and distant. And as much as Ketu loves learning, loves higher learning, here, Ketu does not like to listen to gurus. So when you go to a university or in a school, you want to find your own path. And at the same time, you want to learn. Because Rahu is looking at the ninth house. Okay, so the Rahu's obsession is there to learn, but because you do not want to follow a strict sets of rules, it kind of gets you in trouble with your relationship with the people who are teaching you certain things. You tend to adapt to some unorthodox kind of a religious following. You may not agree with your religion. You may adapt to a very foreign and isolated religion. Because Rahu is again that separation and that isolation of wherever you are. And ninth house represents what? Long distance travel, guru, teachers, higher learning, being fortunate, feeling lucky in life. And Rahu just isolates that because he cannot find the truth in that. Truth really comes to him when he's in a setting that is not biased towards his belief. And spirituality is not biased. Spirituality doesn't say because you're an evangelical or you're a Catholic or you're Protestant, I'm only going to pick 2 out of the 3. No, spirituality doesn't see religion. It doesn't see anything else except your soul. And so this is where Rahu takes interest in higher studies. However, higher studies would not be of religious studies. They would be of a higher philosophical learning. So philosophical learning becomes very good for Ketu here. But as far as like following sets of rules and regulation, no, not really. Now, also you want to keep a note that with Ketu in the ninth house, it takes usually people to isolated places. It takes them to a long distance travel where they feel isolated. Because again, Ketu is isolation. Ninth house is a house of travel, long distance travel, pilgrimages. However, as much as Ketu rejects the pilgrimage, it does take him to a spiritual place where there's isolation, separation of mind, body, and soul. Okay, and especially in Ketu Mahadasha, these people feel really rejected from their father and their priesthoods and their, teachers, and due to that, they get themselves away to some isolated place. And usually in Ketu Dasha, no matter what house Ketu is placed in, it will make a person question that house and the significance of that house, and will make you question why, will make you feel frustrated towards the house, not the aspects, just the house that he's sitting in. So here you will take long distance pilgrimage, and there you will be just, questioning, what have you really learned from your teachers? What have you really learned from your father? So it's very important to do that. And then in the ninth house, it also gives a type of a healing ability to people. Because ninth house is a house of treasure and fortune. Ketu is a spiritual planet who really looks at those other realms, those other spiritual sides that, we don't really get to explore. So here, Ketu's fortune comes into a healing process. And because Rahu is in the third house of hands, healing ability. Like if they were to touch you, you'll feel this spiritual bliss come onto yourself. Okay. And then from here, Ketu's aspecting the second house of family, of speech, of wealth, and then the third house of siblings and small groups and short distance travel and sales, media, your courage. And then it aspects the fifth house of children, of creativity, of political discussions, the house of performing arts, speculative business. So let's see how those aspects pan out for Ketu. So from the ninth house, Ketu aspects the first house, your ascendant, your life being. So your whole life becomes about searching for the truth and trying to find the truth through religion. So it becomes that battle with Ketu. And obviously higher learning and spirituality, finding pretty much spirituality through higher learning becomes one of those life lessons type of thing. Because like I said, Ketu rejects the ninth house things. So your life then becomes, okay, I know this is not working, then what is? So this is why it takes you to pilgrimages. This is why it takes you to, long distance travels and search for the truth, because then it looks at your whole being. It looks at your whole, your self-image into the world. And your self-image comes out in a way that you become one of those very unorthodox spiritual philosopher, spiritual personalities. Like, this guy is, just you try to question these guys, like, how do they know what they know and where do they get the information, And then with the third house, again, that tug of war. You sometimes want to get isolated from your siblings and your close network circle, small groups, but Rahu is there wanting to interact with them. So that becomes like your little tug of war. You're a little eccentric a part of your personality, which everyone has, as I told you before. Somebody might have eccentricism towards their career path, and then the home life they have some obsession, and then they have this tug of war between that. This is why we are multidimensional. Then Ketu looks at the fifth house of creativity, of children, of higher learning, not higher learning, but like academic learning. Okay. And again, from here, Ketu just feels irritated. He's like, I do not want to learn that, hardcore, concrete stuff that is really not true. I want to find my own spiritual path. So, but here, because of its academic learning, they tend to do okay with that basic academic learning, like research. Research is seen from this placement for sure, but it's up to up to bachelor's degree and college level. But once they go through like that ninth house where that PhD and master's degree and higher learning are seen, that's when they kind of just feel trapped there. But as far as their creativity is concerned, they have tremendous creativity. Because like I said, Ketu feels that he's already accomplished these things, so naturally creativity comes to them. Naturally they're inclined towards political discussion. Naturally, they are inclined towards performing arts, but again, the fifth house lord has to be seen. If the fifth house lord is strong, then Ketu feels far stronger than if the fifth house or ninth house lord is weak. Now, if ninth house lord is very, very strong, they will proceed to their higher education, but they'll just feel lost about it, And as far as children are concerned, again, Ketu is a significator of boy, gives that unless the fifth house lord is weak. You know, so this is how Ketu just reacts in the house. He's not, as much as we think it's comfortable in the house of religion and dharma, it really just kind of feels irritated, because this is not where spirituality is. This is where religion is, which Ketu wants to reject. All right. So guys, this was my analysis of Ketu in the 9th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe above. And if you want to know more about where your Ketu and your south node of the moon is placed, check out my link below. Check out my book, The Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you a link to look at your own chart. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.